All right, our tutorial 2, opening a drawing and viewing it. This tutorial will show us how to look at an existing PatternMaker drawing, either one that came with the PatternMaker package or go back to one you've created yourself. I'm not really going to draw anything in this or change anything. We're just going to learn about some key commands here. If you do not have PatternMaker running, let's go ahead and open it up. I have it in my Start menu. It may be under your All Programs, either way. It also might even be an icon on your desktop. Okay, when they open up, a lot of times you can have this asking you what criteria you'd like it to open each time. You can have it display the tip of the day if you'd like to, just for some different tips each time. I'm just going to click OK. Here's the tip and hints, and you can scroll through those, or you can select to not have it show up. But I'll go ahead and close that. Now, for one of the first things you can do is go ahead and enlarge your screen to the maximize. I'm going to actually drag mine to keep it within my recording boundaries here. Across the top are your menu selections. Each one of those will have a drop-down selection list. Here we have an option menus that will pertain to some of the different tools that we can use over on the side. So let's start by opening a drawing. We're going to come up here to File menu, click, go down to Open, click, and then the dialog box will show up. In the large white area will be a list of the pattern makers for Windows drawing files in the directory. Now we are using a demo, so you don't have very many. So go to Shared Files, and you can go up to the up box here, go to Designers, Lena, Free Stuff. Now if it doesn't show up in this list, then we can look down here under File Type. Any file that's been created with PatternMaker will have the file extension PAT, but the free ones that came with the demo are the garment files MAC. If you click on that, then you've got your options here. So let's just pick one of them that we will open. And here you get a choice of either the princess style lines or the bust dart to side seam, either one. It really doesn't matter right now. We're just going to get something on the screen. Now, if you have not already set up a measure table, that would be in here, and that's talked about in another part of the manual, but we'll just go ahead and use her default one. And it also asks what size seam allowance you want, and you put that in an increment of inches if you have set up PatternMaker with inches, which up here I have IN, that shows that I am in inches, but in this case I am going to put a 0 in there. I don't want any seam allowance on it to begin with, and I'm going to click OK, and it sets up the basic sloper. If you used a measure table according to your measurements or the dress form measurements that you had taken, then the patterns would be already set up to those measurements. Kind of handy, isn't it? All right, let's get back to the tutorial here. Zooming. Try using some of the function keys to change your view of the drawing. Take the, you did not get the overlay. The function keys are your F keys across the top of your keyboard. And it shows, here's some of our special ones. F1, we will zoom out. And the whole drawing will get smaller. And the drawing hasn't changed, just our view has changed. F2 will zoom you back in. All right. Tell you what, let's zoom way in. End. I'm sorry. Home. Whoops. End on your keyboard takes you back to seeing all of them. Now put the mouse cursor on a part of the drawing you'd like to look closer at. Let's put it over here above the words. F3 zooms into where your cursor is positioned. Now, panning. Panning actually moves these across the screen. Notice that we do not have the scroll bar on the side or across the bottom like many other programs might have, but we can use our keyboard arrows. Tapping those back and forth and up and down allow us to do that. Then we can zoom back out if we want to and zoom down. Using your hotkeys, the keyboard, while your hand is on the mouse, can actually make your drawing in a program much more faster and efficient. All right, when we're done kind of moving all around, we can push end and go back to seeing all of these others. Let's talk about some of the other function keys here. F4 turns a grid on for you. It's like looking at marker paper. All the dots are at 1-inch increments. If the dots are not appearing, you can zoom either in or out until dots appear. F4, again, will hide the grid. F5 is handy. It displays the vertices. These are points that help control the pattern in editing and drawing. The ones on the corners and on curves are actually on the line. The green ones set inside the perimeter actually are some of your arcs and controlling the curve kind of points. We'll learn about those later in another tutorial. All right, tell you what, that was F5. I'm going to turn that one back off. We've got F7. These will hide or show the grading arrows in your drawing as well as their names. There probably aren't any in this one, and don't worry about that for now. All right. Other F keys have functions that don't change the way your drawing looks on the screen. You'll learn about some of those later. You can also perform most of the same zoom functions by clicking the mouse on the zoom icons over here on the left-hand side of the screen that appear when you are running other commands. And we will take a look at that in some of the other ones. Now, one other thing we'll touch on in this tutorial is changing your working units. When we first start PatternMaker, the program is set to work in inches. However, if you prefer to work in centimeters, it's easy to change. Click on the box that shows the mouse coordinates right here. And you get a dialog box over here, and you can select to go to centimeters if you wanted. Let's just do that for a minute. Notice we get cm over here, and you've got different measurements showing up in the box. Notice they do change and move as you move the cursor. And they are written as an X and a Y coordinate because essentially you're looking at a grid that you might remember from algebra way back. All right. Let's try F4 now. See how the dots are much closer together? Well, they are now representing a centimeter apart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take off the grid, and since the rest of the tutorials use inches, let's go ahead and change back. We're going to go to inches recommended. I would not use inches no fractions because you're going to need some fractions in there. And click OK. We're back to inches. See, it's right there. Okay. Oh, we could have left our grid on and seen how those adjust accordingly. You will have noticed that there are several other measurement formats in the list. We won't discuss all of these now, but you can experiment with them later if you wish. The differences are explained in detail in your user's manual. Now you know how to zoom in on a detail or zoom out to see your whole pattern. You can use the grid to see how big something is, and you can see the vertices if you need to change some of them. You are now done with this tutorial. You can either exit the program, use Open to open a different drawing file, or use the New command to prepare for the next tutorial.